The world is a dark and morbid place. There is no such thing as innocence on this planet. If you look around you, you find out there's a lot of disturbing things happening, even if you don't experience it in your own life. In the wild, animals kill each other while they're still alive. They don't cook their meals of dead things that's already been killed. They eat them alive. We experience things from the news and stuff and not fully comprehend the terror that might happen overseas in war or situations that may be happening in the schools and around America and around the world. A big opponent of that is sadly the event that always turns violent. Today I'm gonna check out and kind of do like a review, but a talk down about Mr. Anime, a YouTuber turned mass murderer. And I want to see through this video what I can pick up upon that could be mental health based. This is hopefully going to become a series where I look into murderers, criminals, serial killers, and so on, and just see about the things that people overlook, either as an attempt to separate reality in the person or reality in the event. Because my mortal core believes there is no such thing as pure evil and pure good. There's no just thing of that. So, I'll see what I can pick up from this video. And the video is made by ReignBot, my apology. If you want me to check out specific people of your choosing, comment down below. It can be YouTubers or it could be people from the 50s and so on and so forth. Anyways, let's check this out. Morbid reality.
A YouTuber on the rise driven to murder. An entire family gunned down in cold blood and a sinister plot to take the lives of at least 70 more. On today's episode of Morbid Reality, we document the rise and fall of Trey Sessler, better known by the internet as Mr. Anime. Trey Eric Sessler was born on August 8, 1989, to a loving family comprised of his mother Rhonda, father Lawton Ray, and a single older brother named Mark. As Trey grew older, he soon realized that he had a passion for film, and it's this very love for the craft that led to the eventual creation of his YouTube channel Lenscap Productions in September of 2006. There, Trey posted numerous short films and skits, some even featuring his mother and brother. It was precisely a year and 5 days later that Trey announced he would begin shifting his channel's primary focus to another passion of his, animation, specifically of the Japanese variety. From this day on, Trey Sessler would be known as Mr. Anime, one of the founding members of the anime reviewing community on YouTube, and according to many, an inspiration for similar channels to come. It's during this period when a third passion of Trey's became apparent, his love of firearms. Over the next 5 years, Trey would deliver review after review, discussing everything he knew and loved about anime, while also occasionally uploading gun-themed skits and even a few weapons demonstration videos. None of this, of course, was cause for concern amongst Trey's fanbase. Sure, he may have been a weapons enthusiast, but Trey himself openly condemned gun violence in a 2009 rant video in which he discussed the media buzz surrounding mass shootings that were taking place in the US at the time.
Hey everybody, Season 2 here, and today I'm ranting on something a little bit, right? Yes, I'm ranting on something a little bit anime unrelated. I'm ranting on all the shootings that have been happening. I'm a firearms owner myself, but it is a little bit disturbing to know that you could be a victim in something like this at these times. All the people that were victims, you think it won't happen to me, but sometimes it does. But seriously, every day I open Yahoo, I'm like, well, time to see what today's shooting is, and hey, there's another one. So I don't know when it's gonna stop. I think it's why, but what can I say?
On May 13th of 2012,
Hmm.
Trey uploaded a video titled Mr. Anime's New Job. In it, he details how he just found full-time employment for an unnamed production company thanks to the work he had been doing at home. He also reassured his audience that while uploads may be slowing down, that the channel was in great health and that he had no plans of quitting YouTube anytime soon. This, unbeknownst to Trey and his fans alike, would be the last time he was seen on camera as a free man. Just 1 week following Trey's update, horrifying accusations sent shockwaves throughout YouTube's anime community.
If you haven't heard, Trey Sesler, aka Mr. Anime, has been arrested for suspicion of, well, he's been arrested and charged with murdering and shooting and murdering his mother, his father, and his brother.
It turns out that in the
Okay. So, nothing really gives you an idea what could be going on via the background. It's just mainly giving you a summary of the kind of the events that led up to the crime. And yes, I did see that specific video. It was around the time when I started to watch YouTube more and more full time instead of going to traditional TV. This wasn't one of the first videos I saw, but I did end up seeing this video early on in my YouTube thing. So I have heard of Mr. Anime for a while, and occasionally, off and on, I've been looking into its case. Because I have a little bit of a fascination, as I said in the beginning of the video, what would turn someone mad? What would turn someone into doing a violent crime? It's just one of those things that intrigues me. I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing, but to me, that's what I noticed. So yeah, I'll let the video continue, see if anything else comes up, and then I'll give you my idea of what could have happened.
In the early hours of March 20th, 2012, Trey Sesler had snapped. The murder spree began with Trey's mother, whom he lured to the garage before mercilessly firing into her chest 4 times, causing her to collapse in front of him. From inside the house, Trey's brother Mark began to call out, complaining about the noise. It's then when Trey swiftly made his way back into the home, passing his brother in the hallway before re-emerging from his room with a different gun and delivering 2 shots. Mark, although wounded, managed to crawl into the nearby bathroom and to lock the door as Trey began to make his way to their parents' bedroom, where their barely conscious father had been resting. After shooting his father twice, Trey decided to retrace his steps, later admitting to police that he wanted to ensure that his family was in fact dead and that no one was suffering from their injuries. Trey then broke down the bathroom door and delivered the final blows to his brother, who had been curled up on the floor in the fetal position. Shortly after the killings, Trey continued his rampage, tearing the house apart piece by piece and scribbling apology letters on the walls and doors, one of which read, "Why did I do this? I love my mom, dad, and brother." Police were later sent over to the Sesler residence by concerned relatives, and soon discovered the family's corpses. Trey, however, was nowhere to be found. Later that day, Trey was finally...
Okay. Did you pick up on something? Now this is more of a pattern that I see when I look into like mass killers who end up regretting their actions. He wanted his family to die. Not painful deaths, but quick. From everything that this video is specifically saying. From everything I remember reading, again, it's been a couple years. So, if I got some facts wrong, don't send me hate messages in the comments. Inform me on if I can't remember anything. I went into this kind of blind. But from everything I heard, one of the motivators for this crime, is the fact that he felt like he could not have gone anywhere. I mean, if you look at his channel, then again, I don't know exactly when the screenshot was done because I didn't watch Mr. Anime. And I didn't want to look up the channel at the time. But his channel was small. So he was not going to be able to make true money off of it. And he was probably just felt like he just couldn't go anywhere. He had mental issues. I can't quite remember which ones, but I know one of them was depression based. He just snapped. He didn't get the proper support that he needed. But since his family probably did as much as they could, he killed him as quick as possible. Doesn't make it right? Absolutely not. No one deserves to be killed. Personally, I don't agree with the death penalty. I don't agree with murder. Stuff like that. So it's just one of those things that's like... It's just a really sad case. Anytime I look into one of these cases, I always wonder what specific event caused it. Like in some killers, it's because their parents abuse them to the point where they gain no sympathy. Some people, it's just simply attention seeking, like Nuka Magnata. Ed Green is a good example of the parents abusing you. It's just one of those things, man. What would drive someone to go mad? From everything I see, it's deprivation, mental health, or attention. Those are like the three main things.
Located and arrested, and it's then that even more disturbing details began to emerge. According to Trey himself, he'd been plotting a mass murder, claiming that he had plans to open fire on his old high school campus, possibly during a homecoming event. Other versions of his plan included running a car into the school's cafeteria or opening fire on a local festival that took place each year. Trey began to explain to officers that he had thought about these plans in great detail, and even studied the crimes of past mass murders to piece together his own perfect plan, a foolproof plot to take out as many as he possibly could, with an ultimate goal of ending at least 70 lives. He noted how each mass murder had their strengths and weaknesses, even going as far as to organize a detailed rating system based on effectiveness, weapons used, and the total number of victims killed. It's because of this plan, Trey noted, that his family had to be killed. That way, they wouldn't have the burden of shame brought about by his actions. Just a few hours after killing his family, Trey found himself in the parking lot of nearby Wallace Junior High School, armed with an assault rifle and hundreds of rounds. This, as he put it in a later interview, was his opportunity to carry out what he had been planning for so long. Trey, however, ultimately didn't go through with his plan, later telling police it was because everything had gotten, quote, too real. Although Trey had been planning to commit mass murder for quite some time, the slaying of his family, however, seemed almost completely unplanned. When questioned by police about whether or not Trey had an argument of sorts at home before the killings, Trey said, "If I would have woken up that day and you would have come to me and asked, 'Are you going to kill your family tonight?' I would have definitely said no." So far, no real motive has been established, and Trey has since pleaded guilty to his crimes and is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Good.
He's noted many times how he'll never be able to forgive himself for his actions, and how he feels as though he deserves to be behind bars. Before this video ends, I'd like to give a huge thank you.
Okay. Again, did you pick up on a couple things? I'm curious why he chose to do this massacre at his old school. Something is being left out on purpose or accidental. Something happened in that high school. Bullying, some type of rumor that kind of ruined his life, some lover not being able to get a proper education there. Something happened in that old school. Now, I could go looking into it deeper, but I feel like if you do one of these videos, you have to talk about everything. Because if you leave things out, questions will arise. Granted, this is more of a summary, hence why it says Morbid Reality Files. Files are meant to be short and quick. So I'll give this person a free pass. This is a great introduction to a case. Now, what I want to ask those in the comments who may see or not see this video, if you made it this far, I want to know, what's your theories? What do you think? Now, if you already know the answers, then don't answer. Or put spoiler answers and then comment. If you know why he did certain things. Because this is a couple years old, maybe he said something by now. Clearly he didn't want his parents to suffer. Either through him doing the crimes or the whole idea of no witnesses. So clearly that's why he did what he did. He just probably doesn't want to admit it because he probably, again, he just snapped. Things got too real. He was thinking about the plan too much and overthought. And he commit that act. Again, doesn't make it right. But I'm just wondering. As for, again, the high school thing, that I just want to know more about his childhood. His high school years specifically. I want to know more about that. Because you don't just decide to go and do a random thing that's a crime. You typically want to think it out, especially since he was watching older videos and looking up at older cases of these shootings. So I'm just curious, what happened at that high school? Once I know that, I can probably have a good idea what happened. But clearly, the guy wanted attention. That's just for one. And he had mental health problems. Something happened in high school, and he thought he can have a perfect plan to get some attention on him. So, that's my thing. Okay. Which leads me to the question of if we can figure out what happened in this high school, what could have been possible to stop that event from happening? Well, at least from this video standpoint, I will never know.